I think one thing is very clear from that match in Japan is that Rio and Trey are the real deal. Rio and Trey are the real deal. They are a dangerous duo, and I think Rio coming to the team has brought Trey's game up several levels because I wasn't sure about Trey for a little bit after that last season, but things have changed. And I think what's also very clear is that Arne Slot is very much a show me and a work ethic type of manager. And we talked about this in the Discord. Reese brought this up that Rio could potentially, maybe sooner rather than we think, displace Cody as the number one left wing. I know, calm down before you run to the comments. That is a total possibility, and I think a lot of people probably didn't think that was the case for Lamine Yamal when he was 16 years old, 17 years old, breaking onto the scene. And now there's there's not an 11 in the world that wouldn't have Lamine in there in one way, shape, or form, especially a Barcelona 11. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. And because of that, we mentioned before, is because he works so hard. And he shows that he's improving. And he shows that he wants it. And Rio is one of the few young players, like Lamine, right, that talks and plays the exact same way that he talks, right? There's so many players that say, I want to be one of the best in the world. I want to be a Ballon d'Or winner. I want to be a legend in the game. I want to be remembered in my position. And the ratio of players that say that and then actually go out and prove it on the pitch is very small. And Rio is quickly becoming one of those players that his actions are matching his words on the pitch. And I'm impressed. I'm impressed by this young kid. I know it's preseason. It's against, Okinawa, who's struggling this year in Japan. So if you're struggling in a league like that, there really isn't a huge standard, but they're in resurgence. But regardless, it's preseason. But this is telling me that Rio could get some real chances in this Liverpool team, especially the way that he's playing. These guys are still professionals. Let's keep that in mind. They still play professional football, and I think they showed that today. They actually showed a lot of grit and intensity. They didn't treat this like a friendly, which I appreciated. But I think the main thing we got to talk about is that absolutely horrendous pitch. That pitch was absolutely terrible. And I think it could have been a better match, especially in that first half, if the pitch was in better condition. But big shout out to Rio. Big shout out to Trey. They came on and completely changed the match, as well as a couple other players that we're going to mention in a second. And you have to think, now that the Diaz move is done, it's permanent, he's on his way he's in Bayern already, right? You'd have to think that Rio is going to get some opportunities, and maybe we don't go and buy another left winger, and maybe Rio is our number two and Gakpo is our number one. I'm hearing that Tyler Morton may be on the move to Lyon. Which Malik Fofana is one that I've heavily brought up on this channel that I think is really interesting for our team. Maybe there can be a deal done there, and those two can battle out on that left wing, but Malik can play on the right side, and he can play down the middle. So who knows, right? And then Trey, of course, can play in all three midfield positions, DM, a box-to-box 8, and of course an attacking midfield now that he's unlocked this new found passing range and fluidity. I think it's pretty impressive. But let's talk about the first half a little bit. It wasn't great. We talked about that already with the pitch. It was absolutely terrible. But Florian Wirtz was a bright spot in that first half. A lot of his little flicks and his passes weren't really coming off because the pitch was so skiddy, but that did not deter him. He kept going. And I loved his work ethic off the ball as well. I think he won the ball maybe 2 or 3 times in that first half. And then, of course, cleaned up that Curtis Jones kind of, I don't want to call it a mess. I mean, because he did good in carrying the ball. I do wish he released it a little bit earlier. You know me with Curtis Jones. But he did a good job. And, yeah, Wirtz is off the mark, baby. He's off the mark. So, but the players in the second half. Let's talk about the second half. The Mac is back. Alexis McAllister. And I really loved that midfield trio from that first half of Szoboszlai, Wirtz, and Gravenberch. And again, I hate to bring up the pitch again. If the pitch was in a better shape, I think they would have did better together. But McAllister being able to come on, I think he changed the game. Him and Jeremy Frimpong were transformative in that second half, I think. And surprise, surprise, McAllister comes on and we start looking like a proper side. But I think Frimpong, though, was the star of this whole thing. I think he should have been man of the match instead of Florian Wirtz, my personal opinion. When he came on, he was so direct, so electric, and responsible at the back at the same time. And I think he answered a lot of the critics that were thinking, is he really a real right back? can he actually get back and track back and do what he needs to do and still be effective going forward? If any of these last 3 games, which he's been great in all 3, by the way, great defensively and great in offense, we don't got to worry about Jeremy Frimpong at all. And then his final ball in the final third, the delivery, absolutely pinpoint and beautiful, and the telescopic legs from Trey Nyoni. That is a pro finish. It's a finish of maturity. But Jeremy was very right? Jeremy was very effective, and I think he was one of our best players on the pitch. But there's something about getting Maka in there and what he does to control the tempo of the game, never lose the ball. There was a point in the game where Maka pretty much like put his hand on one of the Japanese defenders' heads and was just like, "You're not getting this ball, bro." And he plays bigger than he is. He's so calm on the ball, almost impossible to take it off of. Fantastic passing range, fantastic tackling. He's one of those players that can literally do it all. I think the only thing that's missing out of Maka's game is speed, and I think honestly that's just due to his stature, but he has everything that you could think of. And the fact that we have all four of those guys that I mentioned, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Florian, and Gravenberch in the same midfield, how do we get them all to be in the same midfield together? And then you got Hugo, who I didn't even talk about today, who had a really good game today, and unlucky to not score that little back heel flick, but some of the touches that he was taking down off of the passes from Mohamed Salah, which was out of this world today, by the way. The creativity from Mo was out of this world. I think his partnership with Hugo is going to be huge because he can control these really insane outside of the foot looping passes and stuff like that Mo likes to pull off. And I think he's a perfect forward for Mo to play off of. And we'll see what happens with Isak. And then who knows if Hugo is even going to play as a 9 once Isak comes in. But there's a lot of drama around that. That's another video for another day. But it looks more and more certain that Alexander Isak's going to be a Liverpool player. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know what's happening right now at Isak. He's absent without leave in Newcastle. They don't know where he is. Maybe he's doing a medical at Liverpool. I don't know. So, again, that's another video for maybe tomorrow when Here We Go is launched off. You guys got to tell me, though, who your man of the match. For me, it was Jeremy Frimpong. I know a lot of people are saying Maka, a lot of people are saying Wirtz, but for me, I think Jeremy was one of the best guys on there. And as for the tactics today with Arne Slot, I think they were better. I think they were much better than last game. And I know a lot of people were kind of panicking a little bit and like, what is Slot doing playing Tsimikas at the back and stuff like that? And I said that in my last video that I think Slot's just trying stuff. It's preseason. These are games that have no stakes, right? And if there's any game that you want to try stuff, you want to be creative in, you want to try things that may fail, it's preseason. So just trust in Slot and what he's doing, because if he convince Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Isak, Kerkez, Frimpong, all of these new players, that our project is the most attractive out of every other project, the fact that we keep hearing it was only Liverpool. Liverpool's my only choice. Rodrigo's even saying that. There's something that Slot is cooking up and that he's telling these players that they're very convinced by. And I think we're starting to see the finished product of that. And it started with this match. And I do think a couple more signings will be coming through that door. I think we'll get another defender. I think Isak will come through that door eventually. This is a very good side. It's starting to come together, guys. And I think Slot trusting in these young players can save us a little bit of money as well. You know, Rio, we don't have to go out and buy another left winger if we want to give Rio some minutes. We don't need to go out and buy more midfield depth because we're going to give Trey some more minutes. And if we did go out and buy, say, another DM, then that would limit a lot of the play time that Trey gets and Sabo gets, which I think they need more and more of because they're just growing and striding and getting better and better. Everyone in that midfield is improving on a game-to-game basis. I mean, even Ryan was really good today as well. So I think we trust in Slot. I think what he's cooking is pretty cool. And I think we could have another season where we go back-to-back. I think we have to go back-to-back with the way that we've been moving in this transfer window. I think anything other than that is a failure. And that does create a little bit more tension and a little bit more pressure on the team. But I think this team is ready and suited for the pressure that is to come. This is probably going to be one of the most difficult seasons that we have, but probably one of the best seasons that we have, if I can make that early prediction. So let me know what you guys think down below. Who is your man of the match? What do you guys think about the future and what it holds for this Liverpool side? Is there too much pressure with the signings? Is there too much pressure coming off of a Premier League title and expecting to go back to back? Let me know what you guys think. And while you're down there, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of you. See you on the next one. Peace.